Hello everyone and welcome to a brand new camera comparison video between the Vivo X90 Pro and the Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra. Now these are two of the top offerings from both the company. Actually, Vivo has the X90 Pro Plus, but that phone has not launched in India. So we thought, why not just compare the X90 Pro with the S23 Ultra. Now in between both the phones, the S23 Ultra is definitely the more expensive one, and it will be interesting to see how do these phones perform against each other. Vivo was amazing with the X80 Pro, and so we thought, naturally X90 Pro should do justice to its predecessor. So how does the front facing video look like right now? So both phones can shoot 60 fps videos from the front, but Samsung can do 4K, while Vivo is only limited to 1080p like its previous offerings. But here's how the video looks like. As you can see, this is how the HDR performance right now. I'm shooting against the sun. How does the video look like? I think so in the viewfinder, Samsung is definitely doing better with the HDR performance. How does my audio sound? And also, how does the stabilization look like? If you can just make out, I'm walking at a pretty good pace right now, so you can get an idea of the stabilization as well. But yes, we are going to compare a lot of photos. I'll be also showing the rear facing video quality by the end of this video. And also note that the gimbal stabilization that Vivo X series is known for, it's not here this time around. Even the telephoto lens is just a 2x lens on the Vivo X90 Pro. But we'll talk about all the details later in the video. For now, this is the front facing video sample. 4K 60 fps on the Samsung, 1080p 60 fps on the Vivo X80 Pro. Which one do you think looks better? Detail wise, definitely Samsung is doing a better job. Even in colors or HDR, Samsung is doing a better job. But do you shoot 4K videos from the front? Let me know about that as well in the comments. And as always, before we go ahead, consider hitting that red subscribe button before all the detailed tech videos, and also turn on the bell so that you don't miss any of our latest updates. With that said, let's get started. And now on your screens will be the specifications, camera specifications of both the smartphones. So starting off with this photo, this shot was taken on a gloomy day in Vietnam. Pretty busy photo with a lot of elements. First off, both phones are quick to launch, and in most cases there's almost zero shutter lag with both smartphones. In this picture you can see how beautifully both phones have managed to freeze the moment the splashes of the water fountain are captured well. In terms of the look and feel, it's a close call, guys. See, Samsung's photo is the slightly vibrant one here with slightly more contrast. Vivo on the other hand keeps a more balanced approach, as the amount of colors and contrast look balanced, as I said. So much so that one can even pinpoint and say that Vivo's image is looking flat. However, I think both phones have done well here, matter of preference. Now taking the second photo, again when it comes to the details, both phones do not disappoint. However, once again it is the color science that both phones have gone for. And which one would you prefer, by the way? Over here, Vivo's image once again looks muted when it comes to the colors in comparison to the S23 Ultra's image. But is it a bad thing? I don't think so. I feel the more true to source nature of the Vivo's image looks pretty good to me, and many would agree with me. But on the same note, the vibrancy and the punchy contrast in Samsung's photo is also looking equally appealing. Which one do you think is better? Finally, in this image, once again very similar results, but this time around I think Samsung takes away this round, guys, when it comes to the sharpness. Especially if you notice the ground, it is definitely sharper in Samsung's photo. But upon zooming in, you will see that Vivo struggled a bit to get the texture right also. But detail wise, it has done a decent job, I would say. But zoomed out, again Samsung's photo surely looks better here. Now let's check the zoom performance of both smartphones. This on your screens is shot on 1x from both phones, and now this is the 2x shot from both the phones. Now Samsung here by default lets you shoot photos in 3x and 10x mode also, while the Vivo is limited to 2x. So to keep it fair and square, we took both the photos in 2x. So quality wise, very difficult to distinguish, which only shows how good Vivo X90 Pro is when performing against a more expensive Galaxy S23 Ultra. Even upon zooming in, yes, the Vivo's image does look slightly smoother, as you can see around the Sheraton text. But does that make a lot of difference? No, but in terms of consistency, the Vivo can definitely do better. Another photo, please take a look at the 1x output first. You can pause your screens screens. And now is the 2x output, where you can see that Samsung's photo is sharper and more vibrant. Of course, for the darker areas in the background, Samsung could have exposed the shadows better, but the Vivo's photo on the other hand, while exposure is fine, the contrast is not that high, which does make the photo look slightly washed out to me. Now let's check out how both these phones deal with human subjects. This right here are the selfie photos. Now both phones have done a good job with the HDR performance. However, Vivo does seem to give that warm, dramatic tone in the background, which looks visually appealing, by the way. However, Samsung's photo looks to be more natural here, and even the facial details or textures for that matter look better in S23 Ultra's photo. Now similarly, selfies from both phones, but with portrait mode turned on, and once again both phones nail the background blur. The edge cutout is on point, but overall for the brighter overall image and the better details on the face, I think Samsung's photo is again the better one here. Now coming back to the rear camera, and in this photo one can clearly notice the better dynamic range in Samsung's photo, and even the colors look slightly more natural in S23 Ultra's image, but one can also not deny the soft bokeh in Vivo's photo that looks so nice, courtesy of the large 1-inch Sony IMX989 sensor. Even in the portrait mode shot, Vivo's hardware and software just show the phone's capabilities of dialing up that background blur, while Samsung's photo definitely looks good and is the one with more detail and better skin textures. Vivo's photo with the deeper background blur looks to be a better overall shot. Moving on, this is an example of the macro photography capabilities of both smartphones. Keeping it crisp, Samsung was able to click a sharper overall image here, but Vivo with its super macro mode was able to go slightly closer, more closer to the leaf for that dramatic effect. And how Vivo's camera, has managed to put pin focus on the water droplets, it just shows guys how good the X90 Pro has done when it came to this macro photo. Now coming to shooting photos in dim lit scenarios, well, this one was taken in pitch dark with the only source of light being the street lights on the far right end. Both phones, first of all, were able to expose the scene, so hats off to both the devices here. However, in Samsung's photo, the purple patches in the sky along with the noise cannot be ignored, while Vivo on the other hand did a better overall job in giving a balanced end result for a balanced exposure overall. That said, in the second photo, again shot at night, give the Samsung a fair amount of artificial light around, and you can see the color of the sky, or the overall colors for that matter, turned out to look natural and true to the source. While this time around, it is in Vivo's photo that there's a slight ghosting that can be seen in the sky, and even the sky's color looks as if a filter is applied. Finally, in this last photo, both phones have done a fabulous job. Honestly, it is very hard to choose one over the other, but pulling out the positives, I think Vivo definitely has the upper hand at better handling the highlights, while Samsung is right behind in that matter. However, when it comes to the white balance in this photo, and I've noticed in many other photos as well, it is Samsung that keeps it closer to accurate in tricky scenarios, although as noticed in previous photos, if there's not ample light around, the S23 Ultra does seem to struggle with the noise in the photos. So guys, right now I'm recording from the rear camera. Actually, Narendra is recording from the rear camera of the Galaxy S23 and the Vivo X90 Pro. 4K 60 FPS videos. Both phones can shoot 8K videos as well, but who shoots in 8K? So 4K samples, how does it look? How does the video look? Sun is falling right on my head. How does the highlight, how are the phones dealing with the highlights on my forehead? Let me know in the comments. And how does my audio sound? I will quickly give you how the stabilization looks. So I will brisk walk in reverse. So how is the stabilization on both phones? Let me know about that as well. And I've seen both phones performing in the video department. I think Samsung does a fair job when it comes to the color reproduction. Vivo, to me, I think it looks okay. But this time around, by the way, stabilization, the gimbal stabilization from the X90 Pro is also gone. So you let me know overall which video is looking better to you in the comments. So as you all saw, it was a pretty neck and neck performance from both the smartphones, the S23 Ultra and the Vivo X90 Pro. Even you just saw the rear facing video, Samsung did a fair job, better job actually. But it all comes down to the price. The Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra is an amazing camera smartphone, but it costs over $1 lakh. Now the Vivo X90 Pro is not as costly as the S23 Ultra, which begs me to think that if you want a complete overall smartphone with an amazing camera setup, I think so you cannot go wrong with the S23 Ultra, but it comes with a price tag. But at the same time, if you want a similar sort of a camera performance at a much lower price, actually you can consider the Vivo X90 Pro in that case. And the Vivo X90 Pro does a very good job with the camera. You've seen in the still photography, even the night shots I was not expecting, but the Vivo did a fair job. Even in terms of video recording also, the gimbal stabilization is not there, which is kind of a miss, but still it's a decent performer, good overall performer in terms of the camera. But yes guys, this was the camera comparison between the S23 Ultra and the Vivo X90 Pro. You let me know in the comments, what do you think about the photos and video quality? Of course, everything in the comments, let me know your thoughts, or if you want to see a full comparison also, let me know about that as well. And I will see you all in the next video. Till then, take care of yourself and thank you for watching.